porque no tengo amores psycho como flores. No será porque no tengo cariños psycho como flores. Paisanita orgullosa, dice que tienes otro querer. Paisanita orgullosa, cierto que tienes otro amar. Téngalo pues, como me has tenido, cuidado si llorar más. Desde muy lejos he venido, solamente por quererte. Desde muy lejos he venido, solamente por amarte. No será porque no tengo amores psycho como flores. No será porque no tengo cariños psycho como flores. Paisanita orgullosa, dice que tienes otro querer. Paisanita orgullosa, cierto que tienes otro amar. Téngalo pues, como me has tenido, cuidado si llorar más. Desde muy lejos he venido.
Here's the exercise. Get centered. Center yourself. Go ahead. Center yourself. Look around, take in the mountains. Uncenter yourself. Feel what goes on in your body, in your thoughts, how you gaze, what you look at, what you don't look at, the connection. Center yourself. Center yourself deeper. Center your feet. Center your calves and your knees and the relationship between your thighs and your hips. Center it. Feel what happens to your own spine. Center your breath. Something goes on, doesn't it? Center your perception. So here's the premise. Everyone has the master already within them. Everyone knows already there's an intuition in centering. Can you feel that?
Yes.
So now I want you to take the choice of centering, the awareness of it, and not place it on the food, the weather, your mother-in-law, the phone bills, the flat tire, the trillions and trillions of things that usually we connect decentering with. In the warrior sage tradition, we say that a warrior sage, doesn't matter if they're a feminine warrior sage or masculine warrior sage, they bring the power of centering back to themselves. And all it takes is a moment of awareness. The body-mind will go through what it goes through. It's impossible to expect reality to remain the same. This is an artificial construct of the ego to try to gain stability through the external circumstances. It can't be done. It's from your centeredness that the unfolding into centeredness happens. Even when you're sick, you can still find a center internally. Even when there's some challenges that one is facing in life. It's illusionary to expect the world not to bring up the ups and waves and downs of life. The ocean never stands still. It's always undulating. The weather is always moving. The warrior sage is really, they're the master of their own center.
Sexual polarity is an opportunity for you to return back to the awareness of who they are and who you are.
Because we are mammals. But what makes us beyond just the mammalian animal mind is that we have the capacity to connect our sexual energy with our hearts and with our highest consciousness, because it's yours and it's in your body and it's in your being, and it's the thing that every great teaching talks about that can bring us to the heights of glory of humanity or to the pits of hell. Every culture, every age, every era has its own moralities. A lot of the times we poo-poo moralities from the past, thinking they're outdated. But my goodness, that's what's led us to here. What I'm going to be putting out is not a moral code. The path of the warrior sage is not a moral path. It's about the path of least resistance. I'm going to be talking about sexual polarity and sexuality in the way of the warrior sage.
Which is one.
What is the difference between heart connection and sexual energy? When one starts to open their heart, energy starts to arise. Which means your responsibility with sexual energy increases. That's the juice of life. That's what gives us an empowerment. That gives us a sense of, if we had no polarity, if you had no polarity for Peru, you wouldn't be here.
And so when you feel this sense of something happening in your body going off,
that opening,
it's a desire for union.
It's not a bad thing. It means you're alive.
And you only have the desire for union when you're out of union.
Sexual polarity occurs between two strong poles. One strong masculine pole, one strong feminine pole. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. Heart opening is one dial. Imagine I'll use a masculine example of a stereo. You know, let's say there's a treble and a bass. Treble makes the sound sharper, bass makes it deeper. Treble, let's relate that to sexual polarity, and bass to heart connection. You have to learn the difference, and you have to gain the awareness of those two dials, sexual polarity and heart connection, as two separate and individual energetics to work with. But as you grow in power, as you grow in truth, you become more polarized. When you start to become aware of this particular dimension of being, your wisdom, your maturity, your clarity, your depth, your heart, and your sexiness will go through the roof.
And it's attracted you because you're off your awareness of the union that already exists.
Because that's naturally what we yearn for. You can have sexual polarity occur spontaneously with another, whether you love them or not. It can happen between man and man, man and woman, woman and man, woman and woman, child, space, mountains, earth, sky, medicine, animals, plants. So how many of you have noticed these polarities with lands and places? Well, it happens amongst beings.
It's a natural thing. It's like the breeze blowing. And it's attracted you.
When it's simply just the energetics of life. Now sometimes when we experience sexual polarity, the feeling of being turned on or finding someone attractive, I've got polarity going on with that person. I think they got it going on with me. sexually, how many of you sometimes have the feeling of, oh, you got to suppress it, or this is bad, especially if you're in a relationship? Then there's a natural suppression of it for good reason, because that causes confusion. And it erodes the sanctity of the relationship that's already there. Just look at the cases of broken hearts and broken relationships and the suffering that happens in families at the end of that. It's just math, it's not morality. Isn't a man really sexy when you could feel his presence, but he doesn't need you? For a woman who's in her depth of radiance, who doesn't need you, she's very sexy, eh, gentlemen?
What do you do with the sexual energy?
You circulate it. Those of you who have a partner in life, what you do is you offer it to that partner. Work to take and channel that sexual polarity, to breathe it. To circulate it. And the exercise I gave you earlier, get centered. And as a sacred practice, I offer my sexual polarity only between my lover, my wife. You dedicate it to them. To do that is humility. Is the humility I asked that you investigate and feel into yesterday. Because we're warriors. And we've got a purpose bigger than to get filled or to fill. This is where many spiritual teachers, traditions, teachings, cultures, spiritual groups have gone into the fire. Because they weren't able to feel the difference between heart opening and the rise in sexual polarity. My heart can open with anyone, but my sexual polarity, I, on purpose, keep connected to my beloved. Okay. I want to give you a teaching on something very profound.
It's a remembering.
Thank you. Here's a result of our sexual polarity. Now.
Here's the result of their sexual polarity.
So
Can I just clarify something? I just want to fine-tune that part about not needing the feminine, okay?
this is a teaching. The art of living it is an ongoing ever journey that you'll refine over the years. Okay? I wanted to put it out because you guys are great practitioners, and the more you open, the more these energies are going to be in you. The more they're in you, the more you'll need to learn how to work with them. Because we don't talk about it. So I want to talk about it.